We can begin.
Okay. Welcome to the Titusville City Council work session agenda, April 27th. I'll call the meeting to order. Any corrections or additions to the agenda?
None.
Anybody? Okay. If not, we offer the public an opportunity to participate in the meeting at this time. If anybody would like to call in, we'll accept calls and try to answer your questions. We'll wait a few minutes here. Nothing, Neil?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nope, I take that back. Just 1 second, Mayor. Are you there? Okay. You have a question? Okay. Hang on 1 second. Okay, sir, go ahead with your name and your address.
Yeah, it's James Elliott. I live at 306 North Franklin Street in Titusville. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to turn my volume down. There we go. My question is, when you guys are running for election, one of the things that you were going to do was take care of the curb in front of my house that Larry Manrock painted yellow in retaliation. I was wondering if the city was going to start to remove that illegal painted curb, or not remove the curb, but remove the sign and the yellow paint.
Neil, would you repeat that? Because it was kind of hard to pick him up. Would you repeat his question?
Yes, his question was a curb out in front of his residence. If the city was going to remove the
yellow paint and the no parking signs for this side. This side, no parking. It's really confusing, first of all, for anybody that is in the neighborhood and anybody that is traveling through the neighborhood.
Did you get that, Council?
Yeah.
I did. Did everybody catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say that maybe we have Neil and Patrick look into it and see what the actual law really is and see if we violated that and fix it.
I would agree with that, John, but I would add to that, I would involve the fire chief.
Yes.
I think one of the excuses was that was used to do that was the fire equipment needed a turning radius to get down going south on Franklin. So, Mr. Elliott.
I understand that, but they didn't paint yellow on the other side.
Okay. All right. Would council agree to have the city manager, public works director, and the fire chief go and review that and actually even invite Mr. Elliott to be a part of that?
I fully agree with that.
Okay. Okay. Did you hear that, Jim?
Yeah, I heard it. Yes, I did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, no problem. Neil will be getting in touch with you.
Okay, I have one more question.
Okay.
If I may. I was down at the sewer plant earlier today, and I seen a dumpster down there with a bunch of garbage in it. Can you tell me what that is about?
Did you catch that, Council? He was down at the sewage.
I have no idea. Neil, do you?
I am not familiar with the dumpster down there that has garbage in it.
Was it?
Is that on city property, Jim?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's on city property. It's where the residents can dump their grass clippings and brush and whatnot. Plus, there's a stockpile of cement down there that was put there
Right.
by Ryan Westgate back when he was the public works director.
Okay, I guess to answer your question, Neil will have to get a hold of Patrick and find out what that is. Because contractors are not supposed to be going in there at all. That's for private residents, for leaf and brush.
It's a large roll-off.
It could just be a dumpster for public works.
Could be, but we'll have Neil and Patrick take a look at it, Jim, and get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for calling in. Okay.
Yep, have a good day. Thanks.
Yep.
That was our first one, and actually, sound and everything went really well.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Moving on, oath of office for some lady by the name of Mary Ellen Payton to the Board of Health. I just want everybody to know that the previous administration selected Mary Ellen and appointed her, but she never got her oath of office from the previous city manager. So I'm going to slide over and let Mary get in front of the camera for Neil to give her oath of office.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Better looking than we have had.
Okay.
You okay?
Yes,
Okay, Mary Ellen, can you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and I will support, obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office with fidelity.
the duties of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll make sure you get a copy of that, Neil.
Very good.
Okay. Approval of minutes, Spencer Memorial Library of 4/21/20. Any questions regarding those minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to accept and place in file?
I'll make a motion.
I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Gordon,
Yes.
Mr. Payton,
Yes.
Mr. McCrillis,
Yes.
Mr. Crouch,
Yes.
Mr. Witowski.
Yes.
Next item is the manager's report. Neil?
Yes, good evening, council. Just a few items on the manager's report this week. The first is I had an opportunity this past week to participate in a virtual meeting with the Rotary. I gave the Rotary basically an update on what the city's doing as far as this pandemic, how our operations are going. I also gave the Rotary an update on things going on throughout the city other than the pandemic, which included the Diamond Street property update, our dealings with the school district and things like that. And answered any questions that they had pertaining to the city. So it was great to meet up with those folks. It's quite a variety from different organizations, and I look forward to meeting up with them again to give them an update on the city. And I told them that we're going to do our best as a city to work with them and other organizations, and that's what it's about, is working together. So I was glad to be a part of it. The next item I have on the manager's report is I met with Councilman Crouch and 3 representatives from the school district last week to discuss options for this year's graduation for the high school. The school district is looking for options if Carter Field is ruled out due to the pandemic. One option is the Titusville Airport because of the space that's available out there. All 3 representatives from the school were very impressed, and they expressed interest in using the airport grounds. Councilman Crouch provided the school district with the layout of the grounds. We all discussed some layout options. We're going to work out a plan with the school district in these upcoming weeks to have a plan in place if need be to use the airport. We also discussed that following the graduation, we would have a parade in the city to honor the seniors as well. I also let the school district know that the city will have a proclamation ready as well to hand out to the seniors when they graduate. I did have an opportunity today to talk to Stephanie Keebler, and we touched base not only on graduation, but the SRO program that we're working on. She continued to tell me how happy she was that we're willing to work with the school district and provide opportunities and other things for the school for graduation. She had stressed to me again how excited she was to have the airport as an option, and was very happy with the layout out there. John, I don't know if you have anything to add as far as that meeting with the
No, just that it was really great to work with. There was a principal, high school principal, and assistant principal, Stephanie there, and it's just exciting to hear the excitement with them, with that the council is working together as a community.
I got one question for you, Neil, real quick.
Yes.
The kids, are the homeschooled kids going to be involved in that also?
I couldn't answer that exactly. That would be up, obviously, with Stephanie and Phil Knapp and the other principal. So I couldn't really tell you. I do know they told me that there was going to be right around 135 graduates. Like I said, I couldn't tell you who that includes.
I was just wondering if those students shouldn't be involved somehow, being homeschooled.
Sure, and I can check with Stephanie on that and see, who it includes and how that's going to work. So, okay. She did say, we're going to continue to communicate this week and next week and have a plan, and I'll let council know what that plan is and how it's going to look out at the airport if that's where it's going to be at. So,
I would think that if they weren't part of the ceremony at the airport, because that's the public school ceremony, they at least could be part of the parade and procession through town.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
That's what I was going to say, because it is an unusual year for everybody.
All right, Neil, go ahead.
Okay. Yep. Last item I have on there is just want to talk a little bit about the 2019. It's actually 2019B Greenway Block Grant. The Northwest Commission has a Greenways mini grants program that opened this past Monday as far as accepting applications. According to Marilyn Black from ORA, the process is very simple, and stormwater projects are a common submission for these grants. The matching money ratio differs depending on whether you're seeking a DCNR money or a DEP money. DCNR match requirements are 50%, and DEP match is 10%. I'm working with Patrick on this grant opportunity, and we're in the process of getting in touch with staff member from DEP and DCNR to discuss projects here in the city that would be eligible for this funding. Two of the projects in mind for the city would be the Spring Street project that's behind Carter Field. We all know the issues back behind Carter Field with the water and flooding, and also Allen Street as well with drainage issues. I did touch base with Patrick today. He has been in touch with a representative from the Northwest Commission, so we are working, obviously with the pandemic going on, we're doing our best to make sure we have an opportunity for this Greenway Block Grant. And there's some other ideas as well. And if council has any other ideas, we certainly can add to the project list. One of the things we have to do before we just go and fill the application out and apply for it is, work with the commission to make sure these projects are even eligible. So that's what I'm working on with Patrick. I
would just bring up again the Franklin Street crossing of Church Run. That I think is a fairly easy fix if it just gets addressed.
Sure.
What type of time frame do you have on this, Neil? That you're working with Patrick, but talking to Marilyn Black months ago, even before this came out, she was talking to me about this. She said, these things go fast. So,
yes.
What's your time frame? I know it's hard to get a hold of people, but are we looking at next week, 2 weeks, a month?
Looking at the request here, I know Patrick's talked to Mitch Obenrader. He is the one that we need to work with as far as getting the process going. Patrick did talk to him today, so they already have a heads up that we're interested. We just need to run these projects by him. I would say I potentially could have something for you next week as far as where projects and at least give you what the Northwest thoughts are on what we'd like to have looked at. So.
Are you real familiar with the Allen Street, or is Patrick more familiar with that?
I think Patrick's more familiar than I am. I know it's a drainage issue, things like that, but Patrick obviously has a better understanding of what exactly is going on down there.
Well, I know when he was talking about paving, he felt that Blood Street all the way down there needed paved, but that drainage down there, and I think Jay can attest to this, that under the underpass floods constantly and just destroys that street. So I think the money that we're looking at on the Spring Street project was well in the excess of $100,000. My recommendation is we would move closer to the Allen Street and the Franklin Street projects than the Spring Street project at this time, because I don't think these grants are in the neighborhood of $100,000 and $200,000. I think they're small grants, and so that would just be my opinion.
Yeah, just looking at the paperwork here real quick, looks like the closing date for these applications are May 29th at 4 p.m. Okay. So we do have a little bit of time.
Okay.
That's all I got for the manager's report.
All right. Just if I could just ask you a question under that. Last week when we talked, you were talking about pickleball, and they were taking the tape up and so on. And I had one of my neighbors stop by yesterday and said they play pickleball, and they wondered if we were going to paint the tennis courts.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. I've got calls from others actually today and over the weekend from folks that were interested in pickleball. I didn't realize how popular it was. So one of the questions was, would the city be willing to paint lines over at Burgess Park for the pickleball? I met with Patrick on Friday and spoke to him about it. And we actually talked to the tennis coach with the school district. There is some concern with painting the courts over at Burgess Park, that being with the school playing home matches in the tennis courts. There was some concern on players getting confused with the colors, the lines, the way the lines are painted. With pickleball, the lines are a lot smaller than a full-size court. I had made one of the ladies that had called and asked about painting the lines. I reached out to her today and told her some of the concern with the school district as far as just painting on those lines. It was brought up possibly at Meyer Complex. There's tennis courts down there. Some of the concern with the folks that play pickleball is the asphalt court itself down at Ed Meyer compared to the courts at Burgess Park. Burgess Park's a little softer. I think 3 years ago there was donations that were taken in to overdo the tennis courts. So I think it's a little softer at Burgess Park, and I think that's why folks like to play there. So I'm still trying to iron out some of the differences with the school district as far as painting at Burgess Park and whether we could do it at Ed Meyer Complex with no issues down there. So I'm still looking into that. I did a little bit of research today on if there's something other than just painting the lines. Some of the concern was putting tape down, and with the wind, or you have folks that just come and rip up the tape and throw it away. So I'm still working on some things. I hope to have a plan this week for sure for these folks so they can get out. Obviously, the weather's getting nicer. I definitely want to accommodate these people that are playing pickleball. So I'm going to work with them and also work with Patrick on this and come up with something this week, and obviously keep everybody informed of what's going on.
Well, we have a pickleball champion on City Council, and Councilman McCrillis. He's an ace player at this, and I think anything you can do to help Bill and the community would be great. Do you know if the money collected, raised to do something with those courts, if the courts were ever done?
Yeah, my understanding 3 years ago, it was, I don't know if you want to call it an overlay, but they redid the courts at Burgess Park. I don't know how much it cost. I just know it was about 3 years ago with the donation money that came in. That was, like I said, the school district was just concerned with the kids. That's where they have their home matches. And there was some concern with kids getting confused with, new lines being painted over top what's there already. So that's why I kind of thought, well, maybe Ed Meyer Complex would be a good spot to move it down there. But there was some concern because of the court itself. I think, the asphalt, it was a little harder, things like that. Bill, I don't know if you want to have any comments on
I think it's a lot rougher. I don't think the top coat had been put on that down there. If you get down and take a look at it, I've looked at it and everything, and it's rough.
Are you talking about Ed Meyer or Burgess?
It's playable, don't get me wrong, but to be perfectly like it should be, like a tennis court, it should have the top coat put on.
Are you talking about Ed Meyer Complex or Burgess?
No, Ed Myers.
Okay.
Bill, how many months out of the year do you play pickleball indoors?
A good, probably most of the winter.
Okay.
A good 3 months.
And I wonder how long tennis season lasts. That if the lines were put on after tennis season and then, painted over when tennis season comes back up the following year.
I don't know. That's a good question.
What's that, John?
Are they two things? Number one, are they the same color? And number two, I've been to a lot of tennis courts at a lot of rec centers, et cetera. And I'll be happy to hear more about it, but I've really never heard anybody that plays regular tennis ever discussing that they're confused with the other lines because they're pretty obvious.
I encourage you to check out. I went on, I had no idea about it. Went on YouTube and looked, and it can become confusing if you paint the lines the same color. I did look in today to looking at maybe some nylon, nylon things to put down. The problem is if we put them down, where are they going to put them when they're done playing? They'd have to be locked up, and then we'd have to have a key for folks. And, I'm just trying to see other avenues. If we don't paint the lines, is there something else we can do?
I think, personally, I think that the two courts they have down at the Ed Meyer Complex would be ideal. I mean, It's out of the way, but I don't know what it would cost to get that resurfaced down there. I don't have any idea, but I think that's what we should look at right off the, as we win.
Sure.
The other thing I noticed, I looked up, I don't know anything about this pickleball, but I just looked up, and it appears that if you're using a joint course for tennis and pickleball, that the associations have standards for it, and it looks like that it can be done. So
I think it can.
Okay.
Most pickleball tournaments are held on a tennis court.
Mm-hmm.
Is there enough room in the skate park?
Well, I think
Yeah, that might be another thing to look into.
Yeah.
I said, is there enough room in the skate park there, Burgess?
Yeah, where the skate park used to be, those were tennis courts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe we build our own pickleball or whatever court right there. Why don't we have Bill work with Neil, and since Bill's the pickleball guy, maybe he can help out. So,
Okay, I can do that. I'll help Neil.
okay, all right,
Great.
okay.
Thank you,
Anything
Neil.
else for the manager? Old business, airport grant.
Okay, so tonight, basically, we're just probably need to vote on allowing us to put this out for bid. It's something that the airport's been working on for probably about 15 years, and it's always got pushed back. And this just happened to be a year with the coronavirus, et cetera, that we had some additional funds become available and some shaving off some cost here and there. And also, I'd just like to tell the public that I was also informed this week that whenever the state and federal gives us grants to repair or overlay a runway, it also takes into consideration that is an emergency airport to be used if it ever needs to be used by the military or any kind of emergency situation in the United States. So they picked us to qualify for one of these grants. So we just need to put it out for bid. And that's what I need. We need permission. The Airport Advisory Board needs permission to do that.
Any questions to John? Neil, you have any other comments?
No, he hit it on the head. That's
Okay.
it is.
Bill, anything?
No, we're good with that.
Jay?
Nope.
Okay. Roger?
No, I think it's a great project.
Okay. Do I hear a motion then to authorize going out for bid through this airport grant?
I'll make a motion to put this out the bid.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Ouch.
Yes.
Mr. Witowski,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Payton,
Yes.
Mr. McCrillis.
Yes.
New business, and I think my agenda's been changed. It is new business resolution 7 of 2019.
That's correct.
Is it?
Yep.
This is a resolution adopted by the League of Cities regarding the mandated elimination of local taxes. The reason the League has taken a stance opposing this action is that this resolution opposes mandated elimination of local taxes without providing an alternate tax of equal value. So I had asked Neil to put this on. I don't think we can vote on it tonight because it wasn't on the agenda, but a lot of times, and Roger will know this, a lot of times we get resolutions that come down from the league and some don't pertain to us and some do. I think this one does. So I'm going to ask Neil to put this back on the agenda for next week for us to vote either to support the league or, decline on resolution 7. So, okay. Did everybody get a copy of resolution 7? Okay. Anybody want to make any comment on it?
None.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. No other new business? Public input. Again, we'll wait for a phone call. Nothing, Neil?
Nothing.
Okay. Comments by council. Bill?
No, I'd just like to say thanks to Neil for the work he's putting in. He's putting a lot of hard hours in here, and he's doing a really fine job. And rest of the councilmen, thank you for all your service. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Here comes a call.
I do have a call coming in.
Okay.
Probably my pizza.
Whoa, you there, caller?
Yep. Hi.
If you
had a
can-
comment to make.
If you can just state your name and your address, please, for the record.
Yeah, it's James Elliott, 306 North Franklin Street again. I just wanted to say that this time around with the with YouTube and putting your airing it publicly or live for the public, I think you did a wonderful job.
Who
Thank
was
you.
that, Neil?
Pardon me?
Who was that caller?
That was James Elliott.
Oh, okay. He found our phone number.
Found our phone number.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep. No problem.
All right, comments by council. Jay?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Roger?
I know a lot of work is going on behind the scenes. I'm with Bill. Neil's to be commended along with the entire staff of the city during this time. And even though we're dealing with a lot of strange situations because of the way we have to do business, there's still a lot of good coming through the pipeline. And we haven't slowed down at all, and I look forward to a lot of the projects that we're working on to come to fruition.
Thank you. John?
Just to echo what other people have been saying about this crisis that's going on right now, I appreciate the fact that people of the city seem to be keeping going the best they can. I know it's putting a lot of strain on people having to put on and take off your mask everywhere you go. This is certainly not fun, but I'm thankful that there are some businesses open in town. Some of the restaurants are doing carry out only, and I would just encourage people in town to support local any way we can, and to not forget when this thing's over with to do everything we can to keep our local businesses going. And I would like to thank Heather 1 and Heather 2.0, and Neil for the job they're doing there at City Hall, and to my fellow councilmen that, as Roger stated before, we're certainly not letting much grass grow under our feet during this time. We got a lot of good things in the pipeline, and I look forward to presenting them to the city as they come about.
Thank you. The only thing I have left, I just want to run down city council appointments to boards and committees so we can put that on next week's agenda. Currently, Roger and I sit on the fire and police pension boards. John, you're on the planning commission, but if I'm understanding, did you make the comment that because of the airport advisory board, you would have to be removed from planning commission?
Yeah, I don't know if somebody wanted to trade with me, I don't know when the Shade Tree Commission meets. I wouldn't mind being on that. But I think Councilman Frazier had that before, but the Planning Commission meets on Thursday evening, which is the same night as the Airport Advisory Board meeting.
All right. So right now we would have the Planning Commission open. We have the Civil Service Commission open. The Board of Code Appeals open. The Board of Health open. Housing Authority. Library Board, I believe, Roger, you were wanting to serve on the Library Board?
I think I was on library, TRA, and the pensions.
Okay. What was the third one, Roger?
Library, TRA, and pensions.
And pensions, okay. It would leave the Shade Tree Commission open, and we do have interest from John. And then the only other one that was on here is the Airport Advisory Board, and we know John's on that, and the Zoning Hearing Board. And I don't even know if there's a councilman on the Zoning Hearing Board. So if anybody wants to serve on any of those, I think that Neil or Heather could get you the days that they meet. And basically what it is, you attend to the meeting, your city government's liaison between that board or commission and the city. And you basically come back with their concerns, et cetera. So it's not a part of your wage agreement with the city as a council member, but you do get a lot of good information from all of our boards and committees. A lot of good volunteers out there. So if there's anything that you would be interested, let Neil know, and we'll make those appointments next Monday. Okay?
Is there a way that maybe, because it's mostly Bill and I who we're not assigned to anything right now, that we could get a list of those vacant boards, and then Bill, maybe we can have a phone call or whatever, and we can compare schedules or whatever it may be to.
Yeah, I think Heather sent those out, and it probably went to your wrong email.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll
You
have
sent
to
that
dig
out, didn't you,
through.
Heather? Yeah, check your email.
Okay.
Dave.
Okay. I'll dig back through, and Bill, we can touch base and
Yeah, we can. We sure can.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else? If not, we adjourn. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.